Hey guys, welcome back to another Virtual Recreation live stream brought to you by Farmington Virtual Recreation, which is a team effort. Um, and that is brought to you by the Farmington Recreation Center as well as the Sycamore Park Community Center. So, big shout out to Sycamore Park Community Center for partnering with us to bring you all this cool virtual rec stuff. Today, for this live stream, we're going to be making some really cool superhero logo magnets using craft foam. It's going to be a little more extensive than some of our other live streams have been, where we're drawing things like that. We're going to be using a few more materials. It's not going to really be one of those things. It's going to be easy to follow every single step that I'm at. I do have some things prepped. So that we're not live streaming for 2.5, 3 hours. So it'll definitely be something you can go back if you're in the middle of the process, and you can just go to the step you're on and continue from there. Having said that, let's jump into it. Let's look at the materials we're going to be using today. So I do have a new rig where you're going to be able to see a little bit better. So as you can see there, you've got a down shot to what I'm doing. Here's my beautiful digits. You've got a great down shot to what I'm going to be doing right here. It's not going to be at an angle. It's going to be just a great down shot. You can see exactly what's going on, what we're doing, and how we're making it happen. So let's go through and talk about some of these materials that we're going to be using here. The first thing, of course, is our craft foam. I'm going to be using some 2mm craft foam. Now I've just cut some of this craft foam into, it's about 2" by 3", 2" by 3.5" little sections, because we're not going to be making anything too big. Just some nice small little magnets. And of course, this is going to be a medium that it doesn't have to be superhero logos. You can take this, you can do so many things with craft foam, and this is just one of the simpler things, especially if you've never gotten into it before. Just one of the easier things to try it out. To see what you can do. But so we're going to be using 2mm craft foam, and we're going to be using 2 sheets for each logo, and we're going to make 2 logos today, so a couple of them. So there's the craft foam we're going to be using. We're going to be using white. You don't have to use white. You could even use the colors that you need, which would completely eliminate your paint if you wanted to. So if you had yellow, black, and red sheets of craft foam, you wouldn't even need to paint. So if you have smaller kids, that can actually be a more feasible option. If that's something you're interested in looking into. So having said that, we'll move on to our paint. I'm just going to be using regular, just acrylic craft paints. I've got a fluorescent yellow. I prefer the fluorescent yellow to the regular. I just like the way it looks. It's a lot brighter. And that's just a personal choice. You don't have to use fluorescent yellow, of course. And I've got just a regular black and just a regular... well, this is glossy red. Of course, it's just a red. So, and again, the paints are specific. It just depends on what you like, what you'd like to use. I've got a hot glue gun here. I know what you're thinking. Don't be too jealous of my pink hot glue gun. Color doesn't matter. It's the function that matters. And I've had this glue gun for a long time. It's a really great glue gun. I've never had any problems with it. So I'm going to continue to use that. Of course, our magnets that we're going to need. I'm just using these small circular magnets that you can find at Hobby Lobby. If you're not from our area, you're watching from out of town, you may have a Michaels instead of a Hobby Lobby. You can even find these at Walmart. It's just some small little magnets, super easy to find. I'm going to be using a pen. You can use a pencil, a marker, whatever you'd like, and that's what I'm going to use to draw out the shapes that we're going to be cutting. I've got just some regular Scotch tape. I've got a paintbrush. It's not too small. This is about the size I prefer. Some people prefer a finer tip, but I'm not too worried about details on this one. So, and of course, a nice pair of scissors you can cut your craft foam with. So, all right. The last thing actually is I've got a piece of cardboard taped to the table, because when we're doing things, especially things that involve paint, we don't want to make a mess. You definitely want to cover your area. I've used scrap cardboard like this. I've used even a trash bag. You can tape a trash bag down to the table even. Just whatever keeps your workspace clean and that you can remove. And this is a good way to recycle all of those cardboard Amazon boxes you've got, because I think we've all got at least a few laying around right now, shopping online for the most part. But this is a good way to recycle some of that stuff and give it a new purpose. So, all right, I'm gonna go ahead and move some of this stuff out of my way, and we're gonna go through Just a couple more things that I couldn't fit on here to show you. Let me move this, move my craft foam over here, my paintbrush, and my pen. So one of the other things, of course, is I've just got a jar of water here for my paintbrush so that I can clean it off. I'm going to go ahead and stick my paintbrush in there. And of course, when you're painting, clean off your brush, just you know, paper towel that you can use. Just something that you can get the moisture off your brush with. Now, again, I'm not a professional. You know, we're just doing this for fun. It's not about perfection. It's not about getting things exactly right. It's about having fun and exploring maybe a new medium you've never played with before. It's about making something cool that you can put on your fridge and show your friends and family. So by no means are we professionals, but we're just having fun with art and creativity. So having said that, let's go ahead. I'm going to grab a couple of the sheets here. And we're going to start, and we're just going to go ahead and start with the Batman logo. Yep. Let me show you. I'm using a reference here. I've just got it pulled up on my phone, set off to the side so that I can see the shapes that I need. And of course, with this one, we see that it's basically an oval, and then you've got the inside Bat logo. Now, like I said, I'm not going for perfection. I'm freehanding it, and I would encourage you, you know, to do the same. Experiment, see what you can do. Again, it's not about perfection. It's about having fun. And some people prefer different Batman logos. This is just the one that I like, the one that I'm going to make today. So let's start off with the oval. And I'm not using stencils or anything. I'm just gonna freehand a nice oval right on my craft foam sheet. All right, and that looks good to me. I'm happy with that. I think that's a good enough oval. And I'm going to cut that out. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this oval out before I do the next one. And you'll see why in just a second. And we're cutting. Bear with me here. All right, we've got our oval cut out. And the reason I cut the oval out first is because I'd like to know the outline of my oval before I do my actual Batman logo. So I'm going to go ahead and trace the oval onto my other piece of craft foam. And so now I know that my oval is about that big. So now when I start drawing my logo on the inside, it'll be the right size for my oval. I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to put a few marks here where I think the wings on the logo should end. And I'm gonna call that the middle. I think I'm happy with that. And there we go. So now I've got a reference that I can draw to. I'm also gonna put the little tips here. And these are all the tippy points of my logo. And this is how I like to measure it out. I mean, you don't have to do it like this. It's not an exact science. So as you can see, I'm gonna draw right around, and I'm just connecting the dots basically. I'm gonna go up. Connect the dots there and there, come down, connect the dots there. And again, like I said, it's not about being perfect. It's just about having a good time and being creative. And then I'm going to draw his little ears there. All right, looks pretty good to me. I'm happy with that. So now what we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to go ahead and cut this guy out. And again, just bear with me. I'm gonna go quick. Now you can and should maybe take your time cutting these out. You know, follow your lines. That's actually where I like to perfect my shape is when I get to the cutting. And you know, a lot of people, they like to have it perfectly drawn before they get to the cut. That's where I like to perfect my shape, is in the cut. So I'll cut my shapes out and kind of refine them as I'm cutting. And you know, that's just my preferred method. There's no right or wrong way when it comes to having fun with materials and creativity. You just do your own thing. If somebody does it different from you, that's totally fine. You know, there aren't rules to being creative. It's just about doing something you enjoy. All right, we've got the top done. This is the tedious section. This section gets a little difficult. I'm gonna define this shape here a little bit at the bottom because I don't want it too thin. So I'm gonna cut it a little thicker than my line. And there we go. All right, so we've got that cut out. Go ahead and clean my scraps out of the way here. So now we've got our oval and we've got our logo. All right, and let's check the fit. That should fit, yeah, right nicely in the oval there. Now I'm going to go ahead and move on. Now, if your logo doesn't fit, trim it. You can trim it to fit. You know, there's no rule that says you can't cut something after you've already cut it. You can continue to cut it again. So I've got one of these I've already got cut out here, and I also did a Superman one. And this one is I did the same way. I did the outside shape, the diamond, and then I just did the S on the inside. Again, I just did it in 2 sections, and we're only using 2 colors on each one. Now, when it comes to painting these guys, the thing that I found is the easiest way to do it, you know, because you don't want to hold on to them while you're painting, get paint all over your fingers, is to actually take a little strip of tape, stick it on the back side, and if you've got cardboard or something taped down, tape it right to it. That's what our Scotch tape is for, and we're just gonna ruin that one. Tape, I tell you. Come on now. All right, and we're just gonna tape that down. Now I'm gonna go ahead and forego doing this one for now. This is one, again, I just use a reference picture, and you can do the same thing. You just cut out the diamond shape and then the S on the inside. The S is a little difficult, but like I said, it's not about perfection. Mine's not perfect, and you'll see that when we get to the end that it's not perfect. It's not about being perfect. So we'll set that to the side. We're just going to worry about these 2 right now. So having said that, let's move on, and we're going to paint these guys. We've already got them cut out. They're ready to go. So I'm going to throw down, my paint up here is dry. I'm going to have to throw down a little fresh paint. So there's my black. And I'm not going to need my red for this one. But if you decide to make the Superman logo, you would need the red paint. Unless you decide to do a different color, you know. Both of these logos have been done in multiple different colors, even in the comic books. So whatever you prefer, you know. Or if you want to make something new, like I said, no rules. It's all up to you. So this is really simple. It just comes down to painting your shapes, and you know, there's no rhyme or reason to how you should paint it. You're just really getting the color on there. That's all you need to do, and it doesn't take too long. You don't got to be precious with it. And I will tell you, the thinner your coats are, the quicker it's going to dry. So the thinner your coats are, the quicker that paint's going to dry. So rather than one big thick coat, I like to do a thin coat, and then if I need, if I think the color needs to pop a little more, needs to be a little more prevalent, I'll throw another coat on there. So we're gonna do the same thing with the bat symbol. We get some of that paint, and the black covers really well. It really covers up those pen marks. Another thing you can do is turn these over and use the back side. And if you do that, you don't have those pen marks. I wasn't too worried about them. Again, like I said, I'm not too much of a perfectionist, but if you don't like to see those marks, just flip these over, paint the backs, and then you've got no marks. And that's really all it takes there to get that done. I'm going to clean my brush out. And so I've got a nice yellow coat on my oval and a nice black coat on my bat logo. Okay, I'm going to go ahead and move these out of the way. Now, realistically, you'd want to let them sit and dry before you move them or grab them to avoid getting the paint on your hands. I'm not too worried about it, but so you normally let those dry. See, there we go. Paint on the fingers. That's what you want to avoid. So we're going to move on, and I've already got a couple of these painted up. And let me show you. They're of course in pieces. That one, and I've got my Superman. Now let me tell you, with my Superman logo, instead of trying to do the craft foam edge around the S, it's much easier to cut out that diamond and just paint the red edge along it. It's so much easier to do than trying to cut this out, you know, with the red diamond around it too. And, you know, stuff like that. Just little things that may not, you know, be the greatest looking thing in the world, but we're just having a good time. We're just having fun, you know, trying to make it easy. And again, you don't even have to do that. You don't have to worry about the red outline if you don't care. So, alrighty. So the next thing we're going to do, once we've got our shapes cut out, we've got our shapes painted, we're going to go ahead and glue these things together. So I'm just going to put a little bit of glue on the back of this. Come on now, glue gun. There we go. I'm going to put some glue on the back of my bat here. And I'm just going to center him best I can. Like I said, not too worried about being perfect. Looks good right there to me. Stick that down. And I'm going to go ahead and do the same thing here with my Superman S. Just going to throw a little glue on the back side. Get those edges best I can. Not too worried about being perfect. And again, I'm just going to center that the best I can. Stick it down. I'm happy with that. I've got a little gap here, but I'm not worried about it. Nobody's perfect. That's a little motto I have no choice but to live by. Nobody's perfect. So, all right, so now we've got these done. Now, an extra step you could take if you were so inclined is you could clear coat these things. Now, you could spray them with a clear coat, or you could throw down a coat of Mod Podge on them. And of course, you'd want the clear drying Mod Podge. I think it's what most people use, but you could throw a clear coat on these if you'd like to, and that'll keep the paint from getting scratched. They'll last a little bit longer. Again, that's not something I'm too worried about here. And we're already here at our last step, and we're just going to glue a couple of magnets. Now, you don't have to use hot glue. That's what I'm going to use. It's a little faster. You don't have to wait for it to dry, but this could work just as well with the Elmer's glue, with a glue stick, if you put enough glue on. It's just a longer wait time to dry is all. So it's not really too bad. It's not that big of a deal. And yeah, so there we go. We've got our two magnets made. And they're good to go. They're ready to go. So we've got our magnets glued on the back, and they're dry. And oh, yep, I'm going to stick them right to my pop filter here. Yeah. And they look good. They stick. They stick really well. Let me see if, yeah, there we go. See? You could stick those anywhere you like, on a file cabinet, on your fridge, really anything that's metal on your, for when you go eventually, hopefully head back to school, stick them on your locker. But again, craft foam is such a versatile medium, and you can do just about anything with it. There are people who build full sets of armor out of craft foam. I mean, it's just such a fun material. Again, like I said, there's 1,000 things you can do with it, and I just kind of wanted to highlight that in this live stream to let you know that it's not just paper and markers that are out there. There's so many different things you can play with and mess with, and if you wanted these to be a little more rigid, all you'd have to do is cut out some cardboard in this oval and glue it on there before you stick the magnet on. These would be a little more rigid. Again, like I said, I wasn't too worried about it, but and you don't have to use foam. This is something you could make out of cardboard or cardstock. So there's just, I just wanted to highlight that there are so many different things you can do with so many different materials, and don't limit yourself to the one thing you think you can do or the one thing you know how to do. Try out some different materials and make some different things. You can make anything out of just about anything. So, all right, let me switch back to where you can see me already. So I had a lot of fun making these. I hope that you got something out of this live stream. It's definitely something you can come back to if you don't have the materials, or if I was going a little too fast. I just don't want the live stream, take up, like I said, an hour and a half, 2 hours. So I had some stuff pre-prepared and ready to go, but we've been going for about 25 minutes, and that's longer than most cartoons. So, again, I had a lot of fun. Thank you guys for watching. If you're watching this in the future, thank you for watching anyway. Please like and share this video. Again, you can find this video and all of the virtual rec videos that we've uploaded on our Facebook page. You can also find all of these videos on the Sycamore Park community page, and you can find these videos on the Farmington Recreation Center YouTube page. So check that out. Subscribe to our YouTube page. It's a lot easier to find these videos because they're all just right. It's just the videos. You don't have to hunt for them. There are playlists, so you can find all the virtual rec videos. You can find all the live stream videos in a playlist. We have a playlist that was just from our talent show if you were wanting to go back and see those videos. But thank you guys so much for watching. If you didn't get a chance to check out our Let's Talk Local live stream last week, we had quite an audio issue with that, but I'm hoping that this one went a little smoother. It seemed to. But there is a re-upload of that on the Facebook page as well as the YouTube page that's edited, so you don't get the distracting audio issues, and you get some great information on what's going on locally with events and reopenings, how you and your family can get out. So check that video out. Again, check out the Sycamore Park Community Center Facebook page. They've also got an Instagram. The Farmington Recreation Center also has an Instagram. So we're on most social media platforms if you wanted to find us. And even on our Instagram, we've got some of our virtual rec videos. So I think that's all I need to say. So thanks for checking out this live stream. We hope that you have a good weekend, have a fun, safe weekend. If you need to get out, there's plenty of space out at the parks, on the trails, and here in Farmington. Take advantage of those. Of course, if you haven't been out to the parks or any of the trails, they're super nice. Give yourself a chance to get out there and check them out. While there's a ton of cool stuff we can do at home, I get it. Sometimes you just got to get outside in the fresh air. And that's what those parks and trails are for. They've been open the whole time. They haven't been closed. So take advantage of that for sure. Stay safe. Stay home when you can. Thank you to everybody who's out working in the healthcare fields, people who are essential and they're restocking groceries and they can't stay home. We really appreciate those people in our community. Whenever you have the opportunity, shop at local small businesses. You can find most of our local restaurants on food delivery apps such as Grubhub. So when you get a chance, if you can, patronize those businesses. Help to re-stimulate our local economy as we move slowly back to a normal way of life. So everybody hang in there. Have a great weekend.